Meow. I hear you too, cat. Yes, meow. Are you ready? Are you ready for a podcast, kitty? Kitty podcast.
Hi, I'm Eric.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Chris.
And we're I Beat It First. Yay!
Yay!
Kitty edition!
Yay!
Yay! Kitty podcast. I mean, the cat has pretty much taken over the podcast, like, as is.
Yeah.
So much so that we should just go... Are we just going to go back to the Zoom avatars and just call it a day? We'll all just be the cat?
No. No. I hated it. I hated it so much.
But also secretly loved it and enjoyed it.
No.
And really thought about doing it again.
No.
Yeah, he did. He did, people. Don't listen to Jason. Don't listen to him. It's...
Actually, I can't
That's how
find
he
my
does his
D20.
work meetings.
Oh, I thought you were looking for the cat. I'm like, the cat's to your right.
No. And I legit did do a work meeting. I did open one as the cat. And I
Did
was like,
you?
hey, everybody, this is a fun thing. Oh, yeah, I did.
What did they say?
Just like, they're unimpressed. They're like, stop wasting our fucking time. I was like, sounds great.
Great. I'm going to have to
fine.
do it now.
The reason why I called you all this meeting was I became a cat.
Exactly. I became a
Free now.
dude. I said something like similar to that. I was just like, I need you all to understand that I am now a cat, and this is life now.
I guess I know what I'm doing for my daily meeting tomorrow. Or Wednesday, one of the two.
Absolutely.
I don't know if my work laptop is updated yet. If it's not updated, then I'll be doing it on Wednesday when I'm working from home. Let's probably be like, hi, I'm a cat. Nah.
Meow.
Meow, 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 meow.
Nah, nah, nah.
Meow, 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 meow. Oh, man. Well, welcome on in, everybody. We hope that everybody has had a good 2 weeks, without I Beat It First podcast. I mean, yeah, cutscene. We're watching a pretty dang good anime on that. So,
Yeah.
Not even upset about cutscene.
not even upset about it. Yeah, like, if Jason's not mad and Chris isn't mad, we have a winner right now.
Finally a good anime. Like, first time in a while. Although we shouldn't say that too much because, they could just...
We have been
royally
burned in the
fuck it up.
past.
Yeah.
This is true. I mean, that wouldn't be new. But usually somewhere in like the 5 to 8 range is where we really start going, oh.
The mid-season slump.
That mid-season slump.
That mid-season slump. When they just can't figure out what to write. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when we get halfway through our podcast, we're like,
before we get to the climax.
what are we going to talk about? I don't fucking know. Boats and hoes?
We have notes.
Boats
and
and
hoes.
hoes. Pretty much,
Boats and
that's
hoes.
what most of them go to. Beach episode. Hooray! Funding.
I mean, that's everyone I think tunes in. I wonder if like 6, 7, and 8 have the highest viewership, primarily because people know like around these weeks is beach episode time.
Yep.
Yep.
I wonder if there's someone who just goes and watches beach episodes. Just that episode of different animes.
Oh, I'm sure there's like whole like Reddit threads that you can just be like, I just want to watch beach episodes
I have an
all
idea
day,
for a special
every
edition of
day,
cutscene.
because I am a sad person.
Nope,
I mean,
nope. Jason just sealed
special
it.
episode of cutscene.
Special edition of
doing-
cutscene. It's nothing but beach episodes.
12 episodes of the cringiest and most like out there. beach episodes.
I bet I can just find it. Let's see here.
bet you can find it.
Cringiest
I'm sure you
beach episodes. There we go. 10 anime with beach episodes that didn't need them. Oh yeah, that's
better.
right. Oh my god, I completely forgot that this was a thing.
I'm sure we've seen most of these. I'm willing to bet.
Tanya the Evil had a beach episode. I totally forgot about that. My Hero Academia beach episode. One Piece is like half a beach episode the entire time, so that's not really that surprising. Fairy Tail's done a bunch of beach episodes. I know that. A Certain Scientific Railgun beach episode.
No.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. One episode after being brainwashed, the Chaz played a children's card game in the name of love on a beach.
Yeah, but I mean,
Bleach had
they
one.
technically had a beach episode that in Pokemon, just because Misty was in a bikini.
True. High School of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
That they did. They had a beach
I mean,
episode.
that
but that was an OVA.
anime is a beach episode, though.
Yeah, but that was an OVA too. That wasn't part of the actual anime itself. Higurashi, When They Cry, has a beach episode apparently.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
What a great way to signify going into summer
and murder.
and murder.
And murder. And last but not least, The Prince of Tennis had a beach episode in it.
Beach tennis.
Oh god.
Big tennis on the beach.
Can you do that? That kind of defeats the point, right? Because you have to have it bounce, and if it can't bounce, then you can't score points. Everyone's just acing it the entire time. They're like, okay. Left shenanigans. Enough shenanigans.
Video game podcast. Yeah, video game podcast.
Shenanigans. All right. What are we drinking? Start with Chris.
Well, I got cocktail in a can. The original Club Tales. Bahama Mama.
Woo!
10%.
Wow, that is some like back fridge shit. A Club Tales. I remember that crap. Like my mom would have that in like the early 90s. And it was just like she would buy it like from 1992, and I was just like, "What's this? Is this some kind of like fancy pop?"
Club Tales. Woo! Do. How was the?
Day I'm out there making bad decisions.
How is that Club Tales there, Chris?
It's all right. It's 10%.
How much was that Club Tales, Chris?
It's like $2 for a pint.
Oh God!
Yeah, they're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. It's like
sugar. You know it's bad when it costs less than an energy drink.
Yeah.
That's
and it's 10%.
It's 10%. They basically just brewed sugar water and then just added alcohol to it. They're like, yeah, that counts, right?
The Woo Girls version of an OE.
Might as well have some Boone's Farm. Maybe get yourself a Bartles and James. Yeah. What you got, Jason?
I finally went to Costco after a while, and I have Bullet Rye again, which I'm very excited about. I love Bullet Rye so bad. I love the Bullet Rye so bad.
I have a Pizza Port Swami.
Yeah.
I mean, the wife bought a 6-pack, and I'm like, I'll do a Swami, sure. And it's better than some of the other alternatives. But then I also have Elijah Craig Bourbon, which is pretty good for $30. Not gonna lie. I was telling Chris before you hopped on. I was like, it's in the same bottle as Angel's Envy. Not as good as Angel's Envy, but it's also $30. So,
I mean, Angel's Envy is like $50, right?
Yeah, like 48, 50, 55, depending on where you buy it. So yeah, it's not too bad. It's pretty dang good. I'm not gonna lie. Shannon got this this thing at a breast cancer like gala that she went to for like survivors. She had some friends that were there, and you know, she bought this thing in a raffle, and it came with some glasses and some whiskey stones, which I fucking hate because I like having a little bit of the ice melt into my drink, because science has proven that putting like a little bit of water into your whiskey or scotch actually helps it. And then it came with like a bunch of comic books. So that was a little odd. But then it came with 3 bottles of bourbon. It came with an Elijah Craig, came with a knob, and it came with a Canadian Club Rye, which is
okay.
That's like your it's like your your second, maybe third glass of whiskey for the night, like that's when you bust out the Canadian Club, when it's just not that great. You're just like, yeah, at that point, it's alcohol. But it's still better than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Still better than Jack or some of the other shit that's out there. I still have a bottle of Jack Honey. I don't know how I got this. I think it was left over from a party from like the old house. So I've had this bottle for probably close to 10 years.
Wow.
And I'll probably never touch it.
There was something that I found, and I'm trying to find it again now, but it said that it was made in Bulgaria.
Ooh, Bulgarians are not known for
Bulgarian Canadian Club, but now, like when I'm looking at it, when I'm looking online, it may have just been a fuck up on Google's part, but now it's showing Canadian Club Rye 100% origin Canadian.
I would imagine. I mean,
that's what I would assume too. I was like, no fucking way. It had to have been some fuck up on Canada or on Google's side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be like the Outback Steakhouse of whiskeys right there. Just like, oh boy, we're totally Australian and we like steak. It's just like, you're founded in Tampa, Florida. You have no idea what an Australian is.
Oh man, yes. But I just read that and I was like, what? I was like, well, that's fucking weird. And I showed it to Shannon too. I'm like, look, it even says it right here. But so I think Google's fixed itself now. It's no longer telling me that Canadian Club rye whiskey is made in Bulgaria.
You found a glitch in the Matrix and I'm like, oh, can't have that.
I might have. Yeah. Distilled in the arid region of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where full-bodied rye flourishes. Canadian Club 100% rye is made by experts who've been perfecting the craft of rye whiskey for over 60 years. Yeah, this recipe from Elijah Craig is like 200 years old.
I swear, officer, she's 200 years old.
Thanks, Canada. Thank you, Canada, for touting that. Like, we just learned how to make whiskey 60 years ago. And that would be why Canadian Club whiskey is usually trash, and you can find it in plastic bottles.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now that I have officially alienated half of Canada, that's all right. They're still not angry.
Sorry,
at us.
Sean.
No, it's fine. It's Alberta, which is nowhere near Sean and them. We're good.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Should we get on to news?
Yeah, let's do it.
News time?
Let's get on.
News time. Let's get it on. All right. We'll go with some of the most recent news that even got emailed out from Sony today, and that is that variable refresh rate is coming to PlayStation 5s this week. There's only like 10 games that are optimized for it, but you'll be able to run it on any game, and you can just turn it on and have it like automatically run, which means that your games should run better, theoretically. Instead of locking in at like 60 frames per second or whatever, it can adjust down. So you may lose a couple of frames, but your picture quality will maintain the same clarity, which is good, rather than like just having it fuck up an artifact and whatnot all over the place. It's also a feature that's been in the Xbox Series X for like a long fucking time. I want to say since launch. But I don't know. All right. Next, Glorious, which is actually the same company. Do I have? Oh yeah, here we go.
Oh, your keycaps?
Yeah, same company I got my keycaps from. If you look at their packaging right there,
those are really
see where it
nice
says,
keycaps.
see that name right there? It says Glorious PC Gaming Race. It's been that way for a while. They're finally dropping the Nazi-esque name, which was a meme on the internet and is still a meme on the internet to this day, even though we also love talking about punching Nazis. But they are dropping the PC gaming race, and it's just now Glorious. That's
Glorious.
Which is, in my opinion, totally fine. I remember when I bought those and I looked at it and I'm like, man, that's a cringy fucking name. It's like super cringe.
PC Master Race is like a constant like thing that's always on
Yeah.
all that jazz like that. So
I know.
them just being like, hey, we're gonna play off that, whatever. It was dumb when they did it. It's dumb now. And of all the things that are headlines, just like, hey, this could be maybe construed to be racist in some way, shape, or form, just because we say race. It's teetering on the line of just like, man, you're just really going at something that probably didn't really need to be going at. But at the end of the day, it doesn't need to be. That's not a line that anyone needs to tote, in my opinion.
No, it's not. I mean, it's very like close to Nazi, and I was trying to hope that they had like when the company was founded, because I know that this is not a new company. And I mean, look at the bearded Fabio on their logo,
right?
Too.
Yeah, they're totally going after the
it feels more to me. It feels more to me is just like this is like them being like, look at us doing something to get rid of like negative impression. Everyone's just like, I didn't have a negative impression, but now you're in the news again. So hey, guess what? People are talking about you. We're talking about them right now.
Hey, they make good keycaps though.
Opinion.
They make solid keycaps. I love my keyboard. So they make solid keycaps. They're really nice, and I if somebody asks me for a good brand of keycaps, did you get Glorious? I forget what you got for some of yours.
Not my caps, but I just love my keyboard too.
You do, yes. I need to make one like yours.
Keyboard love.
I'm trying to decide between dropping money, like a shit ton of money on a keyboard, or buying a new processor. I can't decide between the two.
That is a good toss-up. That is a good toss-up.
I have a 3600. 5800Xs are like really low in price right now. They're like $335. I'm like, I could get one of those.
Is that the top of your motherboard though?
No, I could actually go to a 5900 or a 5950 if I wanted
to. Then wait. Get the keyboard.
I can get a 5950 for a cheap price right now too. Hang on. Let me pull up the price. Yeah, no, they all dropped because of the 3D the 5800X 3D. But like you can get a 5900X for $395 right now, which is a damn good processor. My motherboard will support that. Speaking of Ryzen processors, though, the reason why I'm really thinking of going to one of these is that the next generation of Ryzen processors, the Ryzen 7000s, will only support DDR5 memory.
Okay.
Which sucks for people upgrading. Kind of a
surprise.
Yeah. Intel's been toeing that line, and we talked about it on the last podcast about how they're like really looking at forcing people to stop supporting DDR4 on the chipsets for their motherboards. So they're like really trying to push it, whereas AMD's coming out and saying like, no. It doesn't support it at all. Like you can't do it. It doesn't matter if you want to, you can't do it. And to the same thing, it's like there are issues with Ryzen processors, and there have been for a long time, of like, if you got 3000 memory instead of 3200 or some of those for certain ones, it wouldn't perform right and you would have issues. And they're very dependent on clock speeds and whatnot. So it makes sense. It also sucks because now if you want to do that, you have to upgrade your motherboard, your processor, and memory that's 3 to 4 times the price of current DDR4 memory.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, they do need to have springboards though. I mean, Microsoft has done this a billion times too, where they're just like, and we're done. I mean, obviously you can't as easily with software be like, hey, we're just gonna like, this is now the platform, nothing else will work, because everyone has to go out and buy shit. But it is a good point to be like, you know what? Yeah, everyone needs to new platform. We're not gonna continue to support back.
And we're at that level of tech now where it has to happen. It sucks, and just like I said when we were talking about it before with Intel, like it sucks, but it's the same thing of like when they made the switch from standard SD RAM to DDR, like way back in the day, if you remember back there with P4 processors, Jason. Although old P4 processors actually tried using RIMs, which was a completely different style of memory, which I actually had a P4 system that ran on RIMs required dual channel, which now dual channel's just like the norm. Like you buy them in pairs anyways.
Yeah.
But back in the day, you used to be able to buy
Used to
just
be a
one
thing.
stick. And then having to buy 2 sticks to run in dual channel, you were like, fuck. And RAM memory wasn't as good anyways as DDR, and it cost more to make, and it required additional chip pieces on it and stuff like that, which is part of the reason why it went away. But it was a necessary evil to push forward into performance. So we're unfortunately at that time right now, everybody. So the plus side is that you're probably still going to be able to find some more budget conscious PCs now once the 7000s come out that are running then 5000 and hopefully not 3000 series processors with DDR4 memory. And then you'll be able to start getting some upgrades for those a little bit cheaper as well too. Although, as history also shows, older memory prices don't necessarily go down.
Nope. And then what really stinks is that you're going to have a bunch of people that are going to go out and buy a new system, and it'll be the top tier, and they'll be like, sweet, glad I got this. And then it's just, all right, I'm ready to do like a RAM upgrade or something like that. It's just like too fucking bad. You got to do it all now.
Yep.
So be mindful of that if you're in the market.
Oh, I'm trying to decide what we do. Okay, we're going to jump to something else that does DDR5, and then we're going to come back to AMD. Dell has now come out that they are going to be making a proprietary DDR5 memory module for their laptops, which allows for stacking dual channel memory in a single channel, which is cool. It helps with cooling. It helps with them making sure that they can have everything situated properly. It also puts itself a little bit more in the realm of Apple, where they're just kind of like, you. And also, we've run into issues with proprietary memory in the past, of where you have it and the only people that you can go to is the manufacturer to buy it, and then they fleece you for it.
So you guys remember you're getting a Dell guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting a Dell.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
And you remember
How much weed he
if you
smoked?
may or may not. He got fired as a spokesperson for smoking weed.
Yep.
Now, apparently, it is an absolute requirement for Dell people to be smoking fucking weed all the time. That's the only reason why I can think that they would think proprietary memory is a good idea.
Yep.
So
the
hypocrisy.
They're
You get a Dell.
hoping
No,
that
I'm not.
people will like buy into it. And if Dell and Alienware, if they're two brands, which actually have a pretty good substantial like foothold, if they keep that going, there's a chance that they can push that to where they have that proprietary memory set, and that they get other people to buy into it, and then you can start like getting cheaper pricing on it. But if nobody else picks up on it, if no other manufacturers pick up on it, no RAM manufacturers pick up on it or anything like that, it's gonna kind of fizzle out, and you're gonna get a little pissed.
Here's hoping.
Apple did it for fucking years. They would have a very specific voltage for their memory, so that you could only buy very specific RAM that cost 2 to 3 times the amount of the standard SOs, just because they were like, it needs to be this voltage in order to run.
Apple's the only company I know that people would just like line up to be punched in the gut to suck dick. It's just like, why do you put yourself through this? And you're just like, oh, it's just so much easier and better to use. And you're just like, it's really not. It's really not.
It's not.
But you see, I get punched in the gut, and then I get to suck dick. I'm just like, well, I'm not sucking dick at all, and I get to do all of that.
But see, that's the problem is you don't
punch in the gut.
You don't get to suck dick.
I guess. There's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with it, but that's they like it.
It's not what I don't want to be forced to do it either. Is the only thing. It's just like, hey, that's your thing. Go for it. There's plenty of reasons to suck dick. Just plenty of reasons to have a Mac.
Bob Saget used to suck dick for coke.
Boo this man.
You ever suck some dick for marijuana? I didn't think so.
Huh?
No, I can't say I have. But yes, it's very, very. It's a slippery slope on their part, and they could really end up fucking themselves. It's a good idea, but also a bad idea. It's like one of those things where you're like,
Business.
Numbers.
Business.
How am I doing?
Stock. Stonks.
Stonks.
You know how like Japan they have like the loud angry American at companies?
Oh
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is
Yep.
a fucking dumb idea. They need like an angry Japanese man in these companies.
Oh, they do.
Dude, that's a good point because it's an angry American that made this idea. Because that's like, hey, we're going to make some fucking money here, and that's what it is. But they needed some Japanese guy to be there, like, no, this is not great. This is very dishonorable as a company to do something that's kind of shady.
Yeah.
Just like, thank you, wise old
Yes.
man, for
But at the same
showing
point-
us the error of our ways.
That means that we need every angry Japanese man, like every video game company, to do that, and like have the angry Japanese man who doesn't apparently work for Squaresoft going, NFTs are stupid. Cosmetic DLC is stupid. Stop it. Although there's a lot of Japanese companies making cosmetic DLC, because why not?
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, that's where that came
It's the
from. I
bread and
mean,
butter.
because all it takes is just, hey, we shouldn't be taking advantage of our customers this way. It's just like, but this way we can get them into like a bathing suit. And it's just like, whoa, shit, yes, absolutely,
Beach
please,
episode?
I'll pay all the money for that. This is a very serious video game about the World War I, but there's a bikini
Titties.
model you can buy. Yeah,
Mhm.
titties out everywhere.
Titties.
All right, yeah, $15, I'll do that. I'll do
Saga
that.
telling Tanya the Evil.
I mean, at
Beach
least
episode.
Bandai did it right. Tales of Arise, which I said full on stream and in previous podcasts. I'm like I bought a skin on there, but I also was given the game for free from a friend. So I'm like, you know what? I'll pay $5 for a skin. And god damn it if it wasn't worth it to get a Code Vein skin for one of the characters in that game.
You bought a skin to get some skin, Eric?
Yep. No, it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
even skin. It was the chick that dresses as the Russian chick. Like, you don't even see skin on that. It was just, I was just like, nope, that's a cool outfit. I like it. I dig it. It's totally awesome. And it's better, in my opinion, than all of her stupid dresses that she had. Like, I keep getting all these dresses when I was playing through the game. And I'm like, I'm just going to stick with the Code Vein skin. I'm like, I like this one better. All these dresses are dumb. I don't like them.
Having
All right.
having some Final Fantasy X-2 flashbacks.
Hells yeah! Although they didn't do anything to make her to change her moveset. All they did was visually change her appearance. Whereas 10-2, that actually served some purpose. And you know what?
Attack, pray.
Yep, attack, pray. All right. Going back to AMD, power user benchmark tests are finally coming out for the 5800X3D. And it's showing, as we all thought, that it is definitely for more than just gaming. So while a lot of people were pissed off because you can't overclock them, and then running in standard tests, like it's just not doing as good as like a 5800X because it had a slower clock speed. It does perform a hell of a lot better in big things like video rendering, 3D effects, things like that. Things that require a shit ton of cache because, lo and behold, this thing's got a shit ton of cache. So, and we're talking like in some tests like triple the performance that they were doing, which is awesome in my opinion. I have thought about that, but that processor has not come down in price, and that's like $520, which is the only downfall. Is I still need to look at full on bench because that was a 5800X 3D compared to a 5800X. And I need to look at a full comparison of that to a 5950 because I think they're the same price, and I think a 5950 will outbeat it. But that's beside the point. I don't know. We'd have to look at it and see. All right. I mean, okay, we kind of don't really care about this, although I want to say it just for the punchline on this. Diablo Immortal is coming to PC, everybody. The game that was coming out on handheld only is coming to PC. Why? Because Activision Blizzard doesn't think that the mod community can do it service. Because they knew. And they specifically said, they're like, we knew that people were going to be using emulators and trying to play it on their PCs because that's where like our bread and butter is for people that play Diablo is PC. They finally like realized this, like, oh, people probably don't want to play it on cons or on handheld. Then they're like, but we didn't want people fucking it up with emulators. So we wanted to make sure that you got a great experience. So as Jason put it, it is
Just Lost Ark now.
It is. It's just Lost Ark.
So I mean, this is just so great to me because they doubled down back then. I mean, don't you guys have phones? You know, we all remember.
You have
this and
phones,
stuff like
right?
that, and
Yeah.
it
You have a phone, don't you?
cracks me
Yeah.
up that they're now just like, oh yeah, money.
People hate playing games on phones. People
It's just-
really hate
unless you're
playing games
pooping.
on phones.
I mean, there's a shit ton market for it. Shit ton
There
market,
is.
but
There is, but man, fuck. Like, I get it. I get it. And there's some people that can't afford PCs, they can't afford consoles or anything like that. They got a phone and they're like, this is all I can afford. I put my money into the thing that I can make phone calls from and text and go on the internet, and then I can also play games on it. But fuck. Gaming on a phone sucks.
Yeah.
If you want to know how bad playing Diablo Immortal would be on a phone, just try playing Genshin on a phone.
it's rough.
It's so
It's
rough. So rough. I mean, your phone can handle it. It looks nice. On my OnePlus, it looks nice, but it is rough.
You are not competing in any major things. That's for sure.
No. I also am not fighting bosses on my phone because fuck that. All right, let's see here. In news that you didn't think you needed to know, somebody has modded OG Doom. And when I say OG Doom, I mean OG Doom to support ray tracing.
Fantastic.
And hot damn,
Fantastic.
it's pretty. It is so awesome. It looks so good. I like just looking at it. If you just look up Doom ray tracing and you'll see videos for it. It is, there's like comparisons. They do like a split screen comparison of with it on and off. It is, oh man, it's worth it. It's worth the watch. I kind of want to play it now because of just how pretty it is. But yes, you can download it off of the GitHub if I remember right too. So you should definitely look that up because it is pretty. It's and it's one of those novelty things of, you know, just like ray tracing on Minecraft. But at the same point, it's still pretty.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Next, we'll do good news. Good news. All right, Borderlands 3 crossplay is finally coming back to PlayStation, everybody, because apparently Sony gave the thumbs up after nobody wants
amazing.
to fucking play it.
Yeah.
Please play it.
Arguably the worst Borderlands game. And
Worse
finally
than the
we can do-
pre-sequel?
Oh, I don't even consider that
That's a Borderlands game.
I don't even consider that a full on Borderlands. That was a barely DLC. I don't even remember it. Like honestly, I'm trying to think. of
That's how bad it.
too.
Okay, so it's the second worst Borderlands game that there is, and I mean that is saying something, but it's not really because I mean 1 is awesome, 2 is awesome.
2 is
Wonderland's
fantastic.
supposed to be great. I still haven't played it, but Wonderland's supposed to be great. So I mean that's
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I think they're. I don't know. They're stretching themselves and they're getting to a limit, in my opinion. I mean, 3 was a very telltale for me, and you know, a lot of the passion and fun that they had with the writing, I think, went out the door, and especially with the DLCs. Like the DLCs were just absolutely, like there was 1 or 2 that were fun, like Love Tentacles and Guns or whatever, Love Bullets and
Mhm.
Tentacles or whatever it was. That one was actually pretty fun. I enjoyed that one, but then the following ones after that were just like a slog. And it was just like, what am I doing this for? And it's like, you can get this, you know, new face mask. And I'm just like, but I'm playing solo. Like, no one sees it. Like, I can put on whatever face mask I want, but it's a first-person shooter game. No one sees it. It's just like, cool, it's there.
But
I know it when I go on
I
my
don't
pause
care.
screen. I can see that.
Right.
But nobody sees it. So it's just like I stopped caring. The guns stopped being like amazing. Like I remember in 2 and especially in 1. In 1, I found like sometimes I'd get a gun and I was like, where has this been this entire game? I played 1 a billion times. Same thing with 2.
Yeah.
Whereas just like 2, after like your 5th playthrough through beating one of the raid bosses, you get some gun and you're just like, I didn't even know that this was a thing. In 3, it was just like you had everything done by like mid of that game. And then from there it was just a stats battle. Just like min-maxing the entire way up. And that's where it loses fun for me.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
On other news, though, Gearbox has acquired Lost Boys Interactive, which is a company that has helped them make Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, has helped make some Call of Duty games as well. So it's actually a company with like 200 developers. So they've added on, and I think their development total is like 1,100 people now underneath the Gearbox umbrella. Which, take with that as what you will. You know, I'll let you make your own decisions as to whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. It remains to be seen. Let's put it that way.
Gearbox has just been so hot and cold. That's my other thing I think I have with them, is that they've been so like, here's a banger, and then here's just utter dog shit,
and then
here's a banger. Yeah, and then here's Battleborn. And then
although Battleborn was nowhere near as bad as that Alien game that they made.
Oh yeah, what was that called? No, I remember this.
Which one was it?
It wasn't the Isolation. It was
Colonial Marines.
The Colonial Marines. Thank you. It was the one like the worst game ever made. Got
it's
so many
so
awards
bad.
as being the worst game ever made. Yeah,
that game's so bad. Worst game ever made. I don't know about that. There's worst game of the year, 100%.
That year,
yeah. Worst game of the year, 100% for that year. But man, oof.
We know someone who's made a worse game.
Jason?
On purpose. No.
Oh, yeah. We do know someone that's made a worse game on purpose.
Hey, we're Adult Swim. We want to make a game for us. Make it god-awful.
Oh, I can do that. I can do that.
Sure. Give me money?
All right.
Yeah. Take the money.
Let's go into bad/stupid news. Sure, bad/stupid news. Apple is sending takedown notices to games that haven't been updated in a while. And apps. So it's not just games, it's apps too. And here's the problem. It's games where developers are like, I'm done. The game is done. It doesn't need to be updated anymore. You know, like how games used to be? Yeah. And because they haven't updated it in 2 years, Apple's sending them notices that they need to do an update for them within the next 30 days or it's being taken down.
So it's not even like security risks or anything like that. So they just want games to be active.
And Apple can put it on as a guise of security risks, all that they want, even if they wanted to say that. But at the same point, it's a game that's done. In some cases, they were free games that like some indie developer made, and there's a lot of indie developers out there on Twitter that are going nuts over it. They're like this is why one person even said like this is why I stopped making mobile games, because dealing with all the bullshit of the app stores was just a pain in the ass, and that's a huge problem, especially considering what we've talked about before of maintaining the history of games. And the availability of older games to be able to be played and whatnot, and why emulation is such a key thing, and why even Phil Spencer is saying, like, emulation is a big thing. We need to have backwards compatibility. We need to be able to play the old games because they're our history. And it's like, they're just like, yeah, no, it's down. Which then the other problem is as we've talked about, it's a completely closed ecosystem. So once it's taken off the App Store, you can't get them back onto your phone.
Right.
Yep.
So the other thing is like there was a keyboard that has been used. I forget the name of it, but it's been used widely for visually impaired people, and that got taken down because they hadn't updated it in like 2 years.
You know, the thing that's going to be even more interesting is for paid for versions of things. And, if you get a new phone or, you have to reboot or anything like that and you've paid for something, it's supposedly yours. I know we've talked about a billion times about it, like, hey, digital merchandise, you don't actually ever own 100%. But this is just, I think that they're traipsing towards class action there. I mean, if something were to be taken down that was like widely used and it's very much paid for, Apple got their bit from this. It's not like they're returning that money in any way, shape, or form. They got their profits from it. Why are we now not allowed to access our content? What about movies? I mean, movies aren't fucking updated and shit like that. Like,
exactly.
I don't know. That's weird. That's weird.
And they're not having to go through an updating encryption or anything like that on those too.
Gut punch, glory holes around the corner. Enjoy.
Yep. It's ridiculously stupid, and like the internet is going nuts over it the last day or two, because once they started getting these notifications, people were like, why do I have to like rush to update to the latest version of Unity, which is backwards compatible?
Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I mean, it's going to boil up. It's going to become a big issue. It's going to hit headline news, going to hit national news. And then Apple's going to come out and they're going to be like, hey, they're going to have to address this. They're going to have to do something.
And then
they're going to be like, all right. They're going to come on out and they're going to be like, all right, guys, I just want to say iPhone 14. And everyone's going to be like, oh, shit. I totally forgot why I'm mad. I'm going to buy that fucking crap. $2,000 now for some reason. Holy fuck, I gotta buy it. What's new? Nothing.
Not a goddamn thing.
We reoriented the camera triangle a little bit. The same camera.
You get a 14. That's all it's different. It's got the 14 on it. It's a little bit embossed so that it's got like a little bit of a glimmer to it and stuff like that, so that people, when they see out of the corner of their eye that you got the 14, they know. They know you did.
It's like the PS5 logo where they just took PS4 and deleted the 4 and put it in the 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it'd be better if it was in Roman numerals, because you'd be like XIII, like that, and then they're just like, all right, and we'll just take these two eyes and we'll just put them together.
There was an app. So when the App Store first was invented, or whatever, I'm talking about like.
Yeah, when they first developed it, like forever.
When they first had it, it first out, and like Android, and then Android came out, because it was my I never had an iPhone. Yeah. My first interaction was on the G1. Yeah, whatever it was.
God, the G1.
Yeah,
wait,
I love that phone.
The G1 or the G2?
G1, the one with the flip out
that was
keyboard.
The G2.
Like it was the G1.
I think it was the G2.
G1, man.
Keep talking.
I'll
look it up.
And well, whatever it was called, I don't remember what it's called, but it was one of the first smartphones you could get, and they had all those kitschy like things, like the gun one where you could like shake or you could turn the camera. It looks like you're drinking a beer and shit like that.
No, it was the G1
app.
You're right.
Cool.
Yep.
There was this one app that bugged me. It was on both iPhone and Android, because I double checked this because I thought it was so dumb but genius at the same time. And what it was is the app was called I'm Rich, and there was 3 different versions. There's an I'm Rich Silver, I'm Rich Gold, and I'm Rich Platinum. Mm-hmm. And the only thing was just like, it was like $1, $10, and $100, like to buy these apps. And the only thing it did is, depending on the color that you bought, you could click on the app and it would just bring up a rotating like diamond or piece of gold or whatever that just spun. And that's it.
So that I'm rich.
It was 1000% that all you're saying is that I'm rich and I bought this app. There it is. Yep. I have it. Yep. And I was just what idiot is buying this? This is so stupid. This is asinine that someone would do this. Took them 5 seconds to write it. But it was constantly close or on like the top like 10 apps that people were buying.
Continually buying.
It was like, this motherfucker is probably owned some island somewhere, never even made anything in his entire life. Just made a rotating goddamn GIF, and is now like retired at like 25. Blows my mind. Loved it.
So the G1 was the one that like kind of like popped out and came back up, the one that you're talking about, and then the G2 is the one that like did the first full slide. Yeah,
right.
Armin Heinrich is the guy who made it.
The I'm Rich.
Yeah.
Fucking genius, man.
I
Can you find out like what he owns or if he's
That's
in
what
jail now?
I'm doing a
Because
Google search now for him.
he was either like full on money laundering or just like the luckiest son of a bitch on the planet. It was just like people will buy bullshit.
Hey, there was an
yeah.
article
same
written in
guy.
August 10th, 2021. Today in Apple history, Dev defends I Am Rich as totally uses $1,000 app. That's what it was. It was $1,000, not $100.
Oh no!
Was the
Well, I
big
mean,
one.
at the time it was only 110 or 10 whatever it was. Because I remember being $100. Who could do that? $1,000 app? That makes sense now. You're buying $1,000 phone. Fucking prove it that you're rich. Get that fucking app. Have that bad boy just
Only
sitting out on
app
your
on my
lap
phone.
while you're riding the bus to your fucking job.
Yeah, it was
Freaking
$999.99.
Phenomenal. Fucking phenomenal. I mean, that's just so genius. Like people are like, it's just like, what is something that rich people do that poor people don't? I'm just like, buy that fucking app. I guarantee you that anyone that has an actual like full on 401k is not buying that app.
Okay,
Just-
so
it
this
just
article
blows my
was
mind.
written in August on August 8th, 2008. At that point, he had made $6,000 from My Dumb iPhone app.
And that's like, God, that's just so amazing. That's so amazing. $6,000.
I'm
For a
really
rotating
trying to find like where is he now? I'm really trying to
he's-
fiend it.
He's like head marketing manager for Ubisoft or Activision
Oh,
now.
you know he's probably like some bigwig. He's some secret bigwig at Apple. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God! In 2010, the Windows Phone Marketplace saw the premiere of "I Am Rich" by .NET Nuzzy for a price tag of $4.99. So somebody else made a different one. I can't find anything about where he's at. I'll have to search some more and find
That's
out.
fun. That's fun.
That'd be some deep dive.
I'll have to do some deep diving. All right, let's see here. Sega is reportedly working on reboots of Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. Everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
Desert Radio.
I knew as
soundtrack,
soon
man.
as I posted this in our group chat, I was like, Jason's gonna say something. Jason. Jet Set Radio was a banger of a soundtrack.
I still listen to there's like 2 or 3 songs that still show up on my rotation. I'm just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I just knew it.
Radio.
I knew immediately. I was like, I'm gonna see it, and not even that he said Jet Set Radio. He said JSR. Had a banger of a soundtrack.
Like a true fan.
It's one of my favorites. It was one of the first ones I was just like, fuck yeah, I want this soundtrack. Like I want to buy it. Not just like I liked songs on it or anything like that. I was just like, I'm gonna buy this soundtrack. And by buy I meant Napster. But you know what I mean.
He buys them
It
now
was a
at
different
least.
time.
He buys them
I
now.
buy him now.
Yeah.
I buy him now.
Primarily because you have
I'm
to.
making my ups
It's much harder to find them for free.
much harder. And I want to support the people that make them now. Now it's just like, hey, now I understand.
Now
the
he
work
actually
and art
has
that's
money.
in
He's
it.
not poor college student.
Yep.
This is true. So I've bought multiple I Am Rich apps because
Gotta support that poor college student.
support.
Yep.
Gotta support that art. It's art.
I mean, technically, that
Tell
was
me
the
I Am
original
Rich apps I
NFTs,
have.
right?
Well, no, because everyone could have it. Everyone could have it. So it was just like it was just to show that hey.
But that was like the
look at
proof of
what I got.
concept of NFTs.
I got
People will
money.
buy. People will pay exorbitant amounts of money for this. Now let's add 100% exclusivity. Not just exclusive for its price point, but exclusive for its scarcity.
Well, we found the market for NFTs, man, with Unreal 5. Like I legit think that is, if we're gonna like really go down that path, that's where NFTs could find a viable market. Is in, hey, I own the NFT for my scanned in water bottle. And no one else can own this. And if you want to buy it, you can use it for your game or metaverse or whatever the fuck you want. But you got to pay, and you will be the only one with it. So there's value to that. But
Yeah. Witcher 3's next gen update has been delayed indefinitely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sad, but I'm not sad. I mean, I'm already stoked for the new Witcher game. And I had such a perfect send off for Witcher 3 to me that I don't think that I could ever enjoy going back and playing that game in the same wide eyed like feeling that I did at the beginning. It was so perfect. It was so. If you haven't played Witcher 3, play it. Fucking Eric. Play fucking Witcher 3.
I own it.
I know you own it. You own tons of shit that you haven't beaten. I know this for a fact. Give me back like 80% of my games that I've loaned you. Like
I've only got 2 of your games.
Still.
Only got 2 of them, okay? Jesus. And I was gonna give you one of mine to play, and then I left it.
I know.
At home.
I was super excited.
I totally forgot it. It's pulled out of the PS5 and everything, and just sitting there.
Give it to me. Here. It's probably better that you didn't because I'm still trying to get.
Take it. Take it.
Got it. I still got to get through Horizon, so that's fine.
He does. I saw him playing it, and god damn, that game is pretty.
So pretty, man.
Especially in 4K. Oh, so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay. We got to keep moving on. We're almost at an hour so far, and we are not done with news at all. Hasbro has bought D&D Beyond. Sure, that sounds weird. Except for the fact that you got to remember that Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast. So they own D&D. And the big thing that they were saying...
Sounds weird to me.
Do what?
It doesn't sound weird to me. I mean, that
well, a lot of people would, like, you hear Hasbro, though, and you just be like, why would Hasbro want that? Because you don't think about it. But Hasbro is the parent company for Wizards of the Coast now. And the best thing is that they sat there, and they looked at the amount of money that D&D Beyond was having to pay them in royalties to use the D&D name. And it was all on a scale of like how many people subscribed and used their service. And they saw it just continually going up and up and up and going, we should just buy that and take all the money now, which is smart. And it looks like
business.
It looks like they've got a good idea for it because it looks like they're going to start doing that as their repository for digital versions of Dungeons and Dragons, which is great because they don't have a lot of those out there. And there's not a lot of versions that you can buy that you can get a digital version. That's sometimes you can get like PDFs, but there's not anything that's like where it's interactive and it works. And D&D Beyond works really fucking well. So as long as they just make it better and hopefully don't make it any worse, it's a win-win situation.
Toy and game manufacturer buys source of tons of toys and games. Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. They also had a D&D Direct that there was some stuff. Movie name, space game. Yeah, it's fine. You don't have to worry about that. If you care about that, go look it up. Next, we'll let Chris get his heart on. eFootball has added USL in its newest update. Go ahead, Chris. Talk about how great that is.
So now you can play the Phoenix Rising in eFootball.
Wait, that's what this is all about? That you can play the Phoenix team finally in a... Is this the first team or the first game that the Phoenix team's in?
Yeah, that actually has USL in there.
Yeah, it's the first to add USL in general.
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue what USL is.
And so it's the second tier of US professional soccer. They actually have
which is the second tier of professional sports.
So championship, yeah.
It's like
I love that he just said
baseball.
yes. He just flat out admitted that U.S. professional soccer is the second tier of professional sports.
But no, people have been clamoring for like FIFA to get it, and so eFootball I think is what's now used to be PS, Pro Evolution Soccer.
Yes.
So.
Which is what a lot of people are switching to because, fuck EA.
Yep.
What was it? Which one was it? What was it? PES or which one? Which one was it that sponsored a football team so that FIFA or whatever had to?
That was Pro Evolution. Yeah.
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 This one, yeah.
Yeah, they sponsored a FIFA team specifically so that they had to put their logo into FIFA, which was awesome. That was like marketing genius right there. Right up there with
There's-
Ryan
there's some-
Reynolds bullshit
Yes.
shenaniganery with marketing as well.
Yes. You bought ad space in an ad?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, we did.
Just so we could get our ad space in our competitor's game. All right, Ubisoft says its upcoming Team Battle Arena game won't have NFTs, and Jason is sad that we have to make sure that we say that.
Yeah, right. It's just like in this day and age that we have to be like, no, there won't be a secondary market. And I then went back and reread the article, and it just says they currently have no plans to, which means at release they're gonna release NFTs all over the place.
I mean,
whatever
it's
they want to
Ubisoft.
make money.
Oh,
Yeah, it's Ubisoft.
yeah.
No plans.
NFTs.
No plans. Oh, guess what? Here they are, though. We didn't plan this. It's just a gorgeous marketplace that we spent most of our budget building, but we didn't plan
We
this.
put an easy bake oven for you.
That's right.
Oh God. Oh man. Okay. Speaking of Ubisoft, there are rumors going around that Ubisoft might be the next studio set for a takeover from Blackstone and KKR, which are just like giant tech holding firms. And can they do worse?
No.
I don't think.
Huh?
Much like
KKR
EA
has
getting
their
bought
feet
out.
More NFTs.
Yeah, KKR has their feet in pretty much everything. So that's
And
not a big
Blackstone's
surprise.
got their feet in a lot of shit too, so you know.
Yeah.
It is what it is. All right, let's see here.
Money.
Yeah. Funny news. Babylon's Fall. You guys remember that game, right? Babylon's Fall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Babylon's Fall came out same week as Destiny 2 Witch Queen dropped, because that was a good week to drop, a competitive multiplayer game. Well, last week it fell below 10 concurrent users on Steam. 10.
Oh, I love that stat. I think that's such a fun stat. It's just like, how many people are even pretending to play your game?
That's even
10.
funnier than
Online-
Battlefield
online
2042 dropping below its number of 2042. That's 10 concurrent users. And how sad must you be like if you die and you're trying to do matchmaking and the other 9 are all in a match together? Oh man, but yeah, that's sad. Additional funny news: WoW is bringing dragons. Sorry, World of Warcraft. They're bringing dragons, and they look an awful lot like the dragons from Guild Wars 2, including some of the animations. Which, I'll be honest, there's only so many animations you can do of a dragon flapping its fucking leathery ass wings. Not gonna lie, but.
on an old ass platform. You gotta remember that WoW is old as shit, and they've made plenty of updates, but it's not like it's a new engine or anything like that. So it's definitely dated. And then imitation's the highest form of flattery, in my opinion. It's just like, yep, we know.
Yep, it
And
worked.
like you said, there's only so many ways you can animate this.
Yeah.
Of flapping your arms. It's just like, yes, it's flying.
They either
know
go
that.
or they go That's it.
Yeah. It's either hummingbird or chicken. Pick one.
All right, let's see here. Okay, big news for Microsoft. Xbox has had their best March sales in 11 years. They topped
Xbox.
the brand.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So because you can say Microsoft, like that leads to like so many other things, but Xbox, the brand, has had their best. They actually topped the dollar revenue for console sales in March. Obviously, Nintendo still sold more because their consoles are cheaper, but Microsoft has topped both Sony and Nintendo in console revenue in March, which is good. Primarily because their consoles are actually available now, and Sony's are still hard to find. So take that with what you will, but more revenue than Nintendo and Sony with but less consoles than Nintendo did. All right. Next, we got two. We'll end on thoughts. So Steel Rising has shown off 5 minutes of gameplay, and hot damn if it's not our wind up doll Souls game of the millennium. I can't wait for this game to come out. I'm probably gonna suck at it because I'm not the best at Souls games, but fuck, it's pretty, and it's supposed to have an actual story. So picture kind of like Code Vein, but from a more aesthetic of Bloodborne, which is going to be dope. Yeah. It looks really, really good. Like, you guys should look it up. Watch the 5 minute gameplay. It looks so pretty. It's going to be an awesome fucking game. And I've shown it to like some of my diehard Souls like fan friends, and they've just gone like, "Oh fuck." Okay, well, I guess I have to finish Elden Ring real soon because this game comes out in September, and I'm gonna have to play that one too.
Yep.
All right. Last but not least, Sonic Origins has been announced by Sega. And fuck me, I have some thoughts. The internet has thoughts too. The first one was I got fucking catfished by this trailer like right off the bat because they showed it and it's anime, and I'm like, oh shit, did they remake it and it's all like completely hand drawn? Because I shit you not, like if you just re-released the OG Sonic games hand drawn, it'd be fucking amazing. Like, they just gave it a full-on anime aesthetic. It looked like you were playing a cartoon. Like, that would have just been so fucking awesome. They didn't. It's the 4 games, 1, 2, Sonic CD, and Sonic and Knuckles. So those first 4 games, remastered. So brought upscaled, which isn't that hard considering they're just block pixels, and you do nearest neighbor, and it just upscales it to that. And then they've added in anime cutscenes. Yay!
And you can play Tails throughout the whole thing if you want.
Oh, you can play as Knuckles too the whole time. It's just like it's the 5th time that you can buy these games in like the last 10 years, and it's just like I love the idea. I love it. It like. To what Eric's point, if you want to do this, do something that's more than just re-releasing the exact same game. Because I love the idea if they could do something more, like give us like full-on 4K, expand it out, let us have some options to it, mod it around, play the game that we want to play, make it so Sonic's not just dead center of the screen the entire time, so you don't have any time to react to anything going up, which was fun back in the day, but now it's just frustrating.
Yeah, now we're used to better gameplay.
Right. So it's just like, okay, if you want to re-release these games, give us the option to play the original, of course. But don't charge us $50 whatever for the deluxe edition that they want. And,
you want to talk about that? Okay. Let's talk about this, shall we? Oh god, hang on, I got to zoom in because I was trying to find a good version of this.
The release status for this is so stupid.
Okay. So much so that Devolver like immediately hopped on the fucking wagon of memes with this. So you buy the main game, Sonic Origins Standard Edition. You buy that, okay? Now we're gonna go into price because this whole chart is fucking ridiculous. So much so that we don't even talk about price. Just the fact that this chart exists is dumb. Then you can buy Sonic Origins Start Dash Pack. Okay? And that gives you, not the game, 100 bonus coins, mirror mode, and letterbox background, which is dumb. 1. 2, mirror mode was a fucking unlock in the original games.
Mirror mode, I think the first time mirror mode actually showed up was with Sonic 3. And if you put in, because it had like the adjustable cart that you could do, and you could plug the other games on top of it, and I think that allowed you to then play. No, I'm talking about Sonic 3 had a part that you could pop it out, and you could then put games on top of it, and that's how you could also have or was it Sonic and Knuckles? One of the games had a pop-out part. You could stack the games in your Genesis. Dead serious. And that way you could play because you could play Knuckles in like 2 And it's because you had to have that game. It would play through it all at once. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, this is some stacking action.
Okay. Then you can get the Sonic Origins Premium Fun Pack. Okay. Which still doesn't include the game. Includes hard missions, the letterbox background, character animation in the main menu, camera controls over the main menu islands, and character animations during music islands. Okay? Then you can get the Sonic Origins Classic Music Pack, which gives you just that, additional music tracks from the original Mega Drive Genesis game. Okay? Then you can get the Sonic Origins Digital Deluxe Edition. All right? You know what you get with that? You get everything except for the 100 bonus coins, mirror mode, and letterbox background. So you buy the Digital Deluxe Edition, and if you want to have mirror mode, you still have to buy the Start Dash pack.
So ridiculous.
Sega. I mean, Sega's like, I can't even, like, because this is like, they had a deluxe edition of Sonic, like the Origins, like that was released like last year on like the PS4 or whatever it was. Even came with a cool little statue of Sonic and jazz like that. It was really neat and really cool. And they didn't do any of this bullshit. It was just the add-on of like, hey, you want some actual real, like, palatable things. But now it's just like, well, let's see what we can charge you for, including fucking baseline animations. It's just like, fuck off. Like, hey, you want to move the camera? Like, it's just like, this is like the epitome of like nickel and diming for the idea of it. It's just like, if you ever watch Upload, if you ever watch like any of those dystopian like future things, it's just like, oh, for an extra 2 minutes, you know, insert here. Okay, yeah, sounds great. You know, this is the start of it. So don't buy it. Don't do it, guys. Otherwise, you're just going to set precedents for everybody else. Because if this is like makes millions of dollars, then Sony and Microsoft being like, oh shit.
But you can pre-order it. It comes out June 23rd. The best part is, so the standard edition is up for pre-order, or the deluxe edition is up for pre-order. The Start Dash pack, it's included with pre-order of standard or digital deluxe. Sorry, so I skipped that portion. So it's free DLC included with the pre-orders, and if you don't pre-order it, you have to pay extra for it. And then the premium fun pack and the music pack are listed as coming soon because they haven't decided on a price for them yet. However, Origins alone on the PlayStation 4 and 5, and I'm assuming it's the same price everywhere, is $40. The digital deluxe edition is $45.
So ridiculous.
So ridiculous. Ridiculously dumb.
So ridiculous. I mean, what are they doing to my poor boy? Sonic, you're the best.
Oh, dude, they fucked Sonic so hard. They rode him hard and put him back wet so many times. Like, it's not even funny anymore. Like, now you just feel bad for him.
Run, Sonic.
It's bad. It's like watching a racehorse. Let's put it that way. It's like watching a racehorse. They just keep pumping full of steroids and shit like that. And then when they finally are like, okay, well, we can't put him with, can't put any more steroids in him. Let's still have him run this one last race.
I wonder if they're like doing the same thing they did with the movies, like releasing like just absolute bullshit, and people are just like, what the fuck? Like, this is dumb, and then the whole internet just blew up about it, and like, oh, we'll fix it, guys, we'll fix it. What if
we're no longer
like,
selling,
you know what,
tracks.
we heard you guys, we heard you. Everything digital deluxe, 100%, everything's now $20, and everyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, I'll buy that now. Where if they were just released just $20, probably wouldn't have sold shit. Bet you anything. Bet you.
We didn't talk about this on the last podcast, but we talked about it after the podcast, and I was pissed that I forgot to talk about it. That fucking second movie is dog shit.
They got your money. They don't care.
All excited to go see it, and we're like, fine, we'll go see it. We went and saw it Saturday matinee, so we didn't have to pay full price for it. And even Shannon liked the first one. And the first one,
that first one
had its ups and downs, but it was a decent movie. It was a decent movie. They did a pretty good job of everything. This movie was utter fucking trash until the last, like, 15, 20 minutes. Like, complete dog shit. Shannon and I looked at each other. Both of us looked at each other and said, what the fuck? Acting was atrociously horrible. But I can't tell if it was the acting or if it was the script writing. One of the two. Or it could be both. Who knows? But either way, it was just so fucking bad. Until the last, like, 20 minutes. And then when it was all fighting and Sonic goes Super Saiyan. All that stuff. Which, if you didn't fucking see that coming, then you didn't play any of the goddamn games. So just shut the fuck up anyways. Sonic went Super Saiyan. They brought in the fucking Chaos Emerald, for Pete's sake. He's gonna go Super Saiyan at the end of it. That's just how it happens. But God, that movie was fucking dog shit. It was so bad. Ronan loved the fuck out of it, and we both walked out of there going, it's not the worst movie that we have seen, but it's really, really close, like, to there. The worst one is, God, we couldn't remember the name of the movie, and thank God we couldn't, but it's like some movie about like fairy tales in the woods and shit like that. It was bad. It was really, really bad. We took Ronan to see it. We were like, oh shit, I didn't realize this was going to be a musical. Oh shit, I didn't realize this was going to be a bad musical. It's like, I'm like, oh my God. I am just going to forcibly close my eyes and fall asleep right now. It was one of the only times in my life where I've actually been able to, in the middle of the day, go, nope, sleep is better. Just go to sleep. It was bad. It wasn't Into the Woods. I forget the name of the movie, but it was fucking horrible. All right, but that's it. That's the end of news and soapboxes and shenaniganery and the whole 9 yards. So we're gonna talk about games we're playing. We're gonna talk about games we're playing. Games, and more games. I'll go first because I've been going last for a lot. Genshin, Destiny, Phasmo. Phasmo had a new Easter update where you could find Easter eggs that they hid around, and it was hilarious because you could find Easter eggs, and once you found the last Easter egg, everybody would get their sanity back. So they actually like incorporated it well within there and everything like that. It just really sucked that it was really only live for like 5 days. They put it live on like Friday afternoon, and then they pulled it up on Wednesday. We're like, oh, I wish it went longer. It would have, because it was fun. It was a cool little addition. It was a good way to get a lot of people back into the game that have been playing it because it's still not on its official release, but they're working on, they've done a whole overhaul of how VR works with it. It works, from what I'm told, a lot better. There's still bugs and whatnot, but the game is, again, still in early release. And they're working on a complete overhaul of like the truck and everything like that moving forward. So if you aren't part of the, if you're not following them on Twitter or part of their Discord and you enjoy Phasmo, you should definitely be on both of those so that you can get the dev updates, which is really cool. I also tried playing Wolfenstein Youngblood on stream. Anybody that was here last week saw, instead of playing Genshin or Destiny, Dreamy the Nightmare and I were like, yeah, we're going to play Wolfenstein Youngbloods. It'll be great. It's a first-person shooter. We can play co-op. It'll be awesome. It'll be good. We both just get it on Game Pass. Like, fuck yes. What could go wrong? Apparently, everything. This game is coded like shit, apparently. And I mean, like, bad. It crashed on us 3 times in an hour and a half of streaming. The best was that it crashed on us in, like, so we went through like the first part, and then there was like this intro section, and it crashed on us in the middle of the cutscene. And then when we restarted up, and it crashed on both of us at that time, when we restarted up, it bypassed the cutscene and put us right into a fucking mission. We're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. So we were killing, and we died. And then when we died, it took us back halfway through the cutscene. Like, the game didn't know what the fuck was going on with it.
Wow.
And we're like, okay. I also kept getting that my video card was running out of memory. I have a 3060 with 12 gigs of RAM. No.
Scrub. You obviously can't handle Wolfenstein Youngblood. It is the new crisis. For sure.
Apparently it is.
Sure.
For
You need to
sure.
run two 3090s in SLI.
That's
And
right.
you're running out of video
That's
memory.
right.
So the best part, I was telling Jason about this over the weekend. The best part is it
3090.
wasn't doing this during the game. It did it during cutscenes. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And every time, and then of course there's jokes in the chat of like, well, you're obviously running out of VRAM. I'm like, I'm not. That's not possible. My computer has 48 gigs of RAM plus 12 gigs of VRAM. I'm pretty sure memory-wise, I'm good. I've got 2 terabytes of M2 drives in it. I'm good on speedy, exorbitant amounts of memory, both storage and temporary. It doesn't really matter. And then it crashed on us again. And at that point, we were like 2 hours into stream and we're like, so Destiny? And what did we do? We booted up Destiny. Everything worked perfectly fine. We ran some strikes. Ended the night. So then the next day, because we were going to do 2 solid days of multiplayer and having fun, and the next day we played Forza. And we just dicked around in Forza the entire time. I don't think we did anything productive for like 2.5 hours, just dicking around having fun, which is kind of what you do in Forza. And then we played more
Forza's
Genshin.
good for that, yeah.
Then we played more Genshin, which Genshin's got more content dropped out, as they're continually doing always. So there's a lot of different things that are on there. They finished up one story mode earlier this week, to where it was the festival, and you had like this whole like literary festival that was going on, and blah 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 blah, all sorts of things. If you don't play Genshin, you won't care. I did get Kamisato Ayato, which is awesome, on a single pull. Very far from pity. Very far from pity. Like, I was so far away from pity, it wasn't even funny. And I pulled on a single pull, and I'm like, okay, and I'm done on this banner now. I'm like, I'm not doing any more. I'm gonna get fucked. So I got Water Daddy, Hydro Daddy, for all the thirsty boys out there. And I'm also playing a beta that's going right now. I can say that I am playing the V Rising beta, and that is all that I can say. I am not allowed to say whether it's good. I'm not allowed to say anything about it. I am playing the V Rising beta right now, and that is it. And I was doing that over the weekend, and that's about the gaming that I did other than D&D, but I can't talk about it. I don't even know when I honestly don't know when I can talk about it at all, just other than that I'm playing the V Rising beta.
I don't think it's
right now
too far, because it should be coming early access, I think, soon.
Yeah, the NDA specifically says we're not allowed to talk about, stream, or record anything within this, and it doesn't give you an end date of the NDA that is in the beta. Like, that is it. Like, you can't talk about any features. That's why I can say that I'm playing the beta, because I can't. It specifically calls out features and stuff like that. Like, I can't talk about specifics of the game itself. But
Crazy.
So I got a few days of that in, and
Go
I
to
can't
the
talk about
website
any
and
of it.
find out about features.
Yeah, go to V Rising's website and look at that and decide for yourself. But we have talked about V Rising when they announced it over the summer.
Yeah.
So you, one of you talk about that, because if you talk about it, then I'm not
Then you're
divulging
fine.
any information.
Because
You're talking about what you saw
I haven't
on.
signed an NDA.
Yeah, you're talking about what you saw
But it
in the
looks-
video of what
yeah.
the game looks like, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a game like a isometric kind of Diablo style game that's also kind of survival. You're building up your like fortress and your castle and stuff like that. Seems like it's co-op and multiplayer. We can also kind of maybe raid other vampires or something, but that's my thoughts. Yes, Eric looks around because he can't talk.
I'm just looking around. I'm like, I
agree or
can't say,
mention anything,
I
or-
can't confirm nor deny any of these things that Chris is saying, whether they are right or wrong.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
There you go.
They
Nice.
may be right, they may be wrong. I cannot confirm or deny whether they are right or wrong, everybody. That is pretty much it.
It all depends on what your definition of beta is.
It is it is a hardcore don't talk about our beta. Can't even talk about whether or not it's good.
Bruno.
Like even if I were able, like even if I'm not saying anything. Nope. Like I can't talk
Don't-
about
just
whether or
stop.
not it's good.
Just
I
stop.
just won't do that.
I'm
Just
done.
stop.
I'm
Just
done.
stop. It's all right.
Somebody else go.
We'll move on.
Someone else go. Like I don't want to get in trouble.
Chris, you got any games? Go for it.
Yeah. So I did actually get a review copy for a game called You're a Gun.
No, I'm not
I'm
a
a gun,
gun.
you're a gun.
You're a gun.
And
towel.
it's in early access.
You're a towel.
It's a twin stick shooter where you play a robot. And the story is, so this robot that's normally piloted, but you're unmanned right now. You're trying to find your human. They got lost. You find this AI program, and it kind of tells you a little bit. I guess robots have gone like rabid and are killing everybody, and somehow you didn't go rabid, get corrupted code, get the virus, and so this AI kind of helps you along and kind of tells you a story as you try to find your human, your pilot, and everyone else going through. Between rounds, you can pick up like you can switch out your loadout because you got your robots. You got gun on each arm. You got like Gatling gun, grenade launcher, rocket launcher, different kind of like rail gun.
A certain magical
chainsaw
rail
thing
gun.
they can kind of shoot out. Yep. It's their magical rail gun beach episode. And so it's pretty fun. I just kind of go through and pick up different powers, and as you also kind of find sometimes you find like these little like pages or whatever, and it kind of fills you on the backstory. When you get those in between rounds, you can kind of look at them, and they're pages to like a comic book. So you're reading through a comic of kind of giving your backstory, which is kind of cool. I kind of enjoy it. It's an early access on Steam. Also, played some Phasmo and some Valorant. And I also got back into Last Epoch, which is a Diablo style game. Made a new character on there. Made a warrior, which is the Sentinel class in there, and then eventually got to my advanced class, which I went with, I think like a Forged Knight. So I'll eventually be able to summon like an armor and stuff like that. I've talked about Last Epoch before, but as a kind of refresher, one of the cool things about it is, so there's time travel through there, as you kind of go through different eras, but as you kind of level up, you unlock little slots where you can specialize in different skills you get, and in those skills, and when you specialize in a skill, you now get a skill tree, and you can kind of put points in as you kind of branches out in that skill tree. You also got like passives. That's kind of reminiscent of like Titan Quest. We can just kind of put different points in there, upgrade different skills, abilities. You can upgrade equipment with fragments you find throughout there. So that's kind of fun. Been doing that. And then I also played some Roboquest, which is also in early access. That's on Game Pass. And graphically, the style is very much Borderlands. And you got
I
like
know
4
this
different
one. Yes.
classes. Yeah. So you're a robot, you got 4 different classes to choose from. Roguelite, first person shooter, going through. You kind of unlock the classes by accomplishing different things. Unlocks one class by defeating your first boss. 1,000 kills unlocks another one. Upgrading your base to level 4 unlocks the 4th and final class. But it's pretty fun. Kind of roguelite, bullet hell, first person shooter in a very kind of cel shaded kind of manner. It was fun.
Very cool.
Nice.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Anything you
to
can review?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, well, I guess I can review your gun. So I pretty much played that on stream too. Pretty much went through the whole thing that's available right now. Because that's still kind of early access, kind of beta thing. So the full game's not quite out yet, but I went through what you can play. And I'd probably give it a solid 7.5.
Okay.
That's fun.
Nice.
Not bad.
7.5. All right. We'll have to make sure to send that over to our nice friends that sent it to us.
Yes, our nice friends at Evolve PR.
Yes.
I
All
think that
right,
was wow.
Jason.
I only have a few games that I want to talk about. I've played a whole bunch of the same games that I always go through my docket list, but there's two that I really wanted to call out. And the first one was Tunic. Chris, I know you played this a whole bunch on
Hmm.
stream and stuff like that. But Tunic is the Zelda clone in essence, but you're a little fox and stuff like that. And it is extremely, very much just old school Zelda style gameplay, but then like taking the puzzle solving like to the nth degree. There is so much more puzzling that's going on in this game than you even realize that you're doing until you get to the very end and you're just like, shit, there's a lot of puzzle that I have to figure out here, including like putting together missing pieces from a giant exploded like obelisk that are just scattered throughout the entire world that you have to walk around and find and then draw down the pattern that's on that bit of the obelisk to then create a full map back at your original puzzle start place. Your entire pamphlet that you're collecting pieces for, your instruction manual for the game, is chock full of just little itty bitty like, hey, pay attention to this little small aspect because it's a hint to a clue of a puzzle. It is insane the level of puzzling that is going on here, like to like levels that's just like, how would you ever figure that out on your own? Like this is like, imagine Myst but in like a Zelda game. It's just like there's so many different puzzle things that can happen here on how you have to enter in special codes on special screens in certain areas by listening to noise sounds, deciphering text, looking at different areas, drawing out lines of enemies, copying different aspects, flipping them. It is nuts. Like it's just crazy. Not to mention that we also have an already fantastic Zelda clone game here. The game in itself, lots of fun. It's a Zelda clone style game. Exploration and collecting gear is all of it, all that there is to it. The bosses are fun and challenging. It is a little bit on the hard side. You do find yourself having to work towards stuff, and it's a lot of fun. The upgrades and everything you can find are rewarding. You feel fantastic. It is a fantastic Zelda clone game by itself.
Hmm.
Once you start getting into it though, and you get into the puzzles, it then becomes something completely different. And you get to the second ending of the game, and it is nine times like the first half of the game, well not the first half, the first 80% of the game when you beat the first time, it's probably a solid 8 of a game. Like it's just like that was fun. That was great. You get into the puzzles though, this goes into like a billion. Like it's just insane of how amazing this game gets and how in depth it goes, right down to how they create the instruction booklet. Like it is just so gorgeous. There's just such beauty in how they crafted this game and how they wanted you to experience it. And even though it's extremely linear in that regard, it's still just like it's your story that you crafted. And there's still more puzzles that are going on out there. And I this isn't a spoiler in any way, shape, or form. Once you've 100% of the game, there's all these different puzzles they have to do to find
Hmm.
these extra puzzles or extra treasures. And these treasures have nothing to do with the game. They're just like, congratulations, you found this treasure. And each and every single one of them is ridiculous to find. Like, ridiculous. From listening to notes on a wind chime and then deciding that that note means something else that's on your instruction booklet and being like, hey, if I hear a rising note, that means up on the D-pad. If I hear a declining note, that means down on the D-pad. Makes sense, but you're listening to a fucking wind chime. And how
Yeah.
you're deciphering that to yourself to then plug it in on your D-pad is insane. Anyway, I digress. Once you've collected all like 12 of these or however many there were of these special treasure chests, you then get to the final area of what's called Glyph Tower. And again, there's nothing here that you need to do. There's nothing part of this game. I just want to explain this a little bit just so I can talk about how insanely like puzzle solving this game gets. And this is the final puzzle of the game, and it still, as far as I know, hasn't been fully solved. So there you go for that.
Really?
So really, now just listen to this. So after you've collected all of the treasures, you get to what's called Glyph Tower. You get to Glyph Tower, and you can then enter in a special code that's going to allow you to open up all the glyphs from the game. The glyphs in the game were a big part that you had to like decipher and figure out different areas of what you needed to do for your up, down, left, right combos for your D-pad thing. And everything was up, down, left, right D-pad combinations. So once you get there, you can unlock a special code that you've already deciphered, enter it in there, it opens up your glyphs. You then switch around the glyphs to a different area and enter in the final password backwards. And the final password was, let me see if I can just count how many there are here real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's about 120 different combinations of up, down, left, right that you had to do for the final password. Now you had to do it backwards. Once you did it backwards, the runes would spell out a new message. The runes. So you still had to decipher the runes. You're on your own. And that message was, do you fear the eyes of the farshore.co? Yes, a website. You can go to this website and it'll show you
the farshore.co?
Do you fear the
Oh, that's all of it. Oh.
farshore.co. Yeah. It is a long .co website. If you go there, all that it
Which
is,
I love that they
looping
couldn't buy
video,
the .com.
right? Way to cheap out, Tunic. It's a looping video of one of the that looks like to be one of the monsters in one of the mini glyphs that you never saw or anything like that. It looks like one of the rune monsters, and it's just got a looping sound to it and stuff like that. If you then go into the source code of the website, you will find there's a MP3 file in there. You can download that MP3 file. If you go in there and look under the details.
Apparently, if you click on the hexagram or hexagons in there, they make sounds
it
too.
just make noises.
Yes,
It just came through on stream because I was like clicked on it, I'm like, oh, and then I click, I'm like, oh wait, that's playing music.
Oh, yep.
Hang on, wait, it does this. Apparently stream, that's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. So it gets even deeper. So you download the MP3 file that you can find on there. It's just called a.mp3, and you can go in there and you look at the details.
Literally
just
just
says,
a.
Thank you for playing. Just a letter A. .mp3. And it says thank you for playing. And then you're like, okay, that seems like the end. However, someone then put this into the audio file into a spectrogram. And if you look at it in the 10 hertz to 500 hertz range, it will review. It'll then view out further runes for you to decipher. And the runes say, "We are the eyes of the far shore," and that's where they're at right now. And so it goes further. So now the hunt is to go through every single audio file. So from all of this, they found that all of the audio files in the entire game actually have spectrogram imagery in them. Every single music file. Now, the music in the game is dope. The music's awesome too. So it's just like, holy shit. There's levels of puzzles to this game. And the game itself was immensely fun. You felt like a fucking genius when you figured out one of these puzzles. You're just like, yeah, I own this game.
Look what I did.
And then I got to this part and I was like, I have no idea what to do. Finally, I was just like, I'm just going to pull up a thing and just look at this. And I read this and I was just like, well, fuck off. There's no way. There's no way I would have ever gotten to this point. It's just like, that's insane. So, I mean, if that intrigues you, which obviously I didn't spoil anything from the story, this has nothing to do with anything that is in the game whatsoever, is just super interesting of what they've done with this world. Absolutely amazing. Super fun. It's on Game Pass. Go fucking play it. It's
the
really
image
fun.
that's on
it's
this,
so adorable.
Do you fear the eyes of the farshore.co? Looks like a Squidbilly on steroids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which I hope that this is like, it's leading to like either DLC or like the sequel or something like that.
Or the sequel.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's a lot they could do here to really kind of tie it all in. And it's really interesting. I mean, the game itself and the storyline that they had, the actual storyline was really well done. And on how you complete it, especially to get the real ending, is really cool. And the ending for that was even more rewarding. So it's a super fun game. It's a great mix of just being like, great combat and fun, like little game, but then you can really kind of look deeper. And it's one of those games where like you can enjoy the game, not look too deep. You can, absolutely. But the more you look and the closer you look at that instruction manual and kind of like go over this stuff, you find yourself being like, hey, wait, that kind of matches. Hey, there's a note here. Hey, there's something going on here. And you start really kind of pulling back the curtain. And it was really cool experience. And it's something I haven't experienced in a long, long time. So highly recommend that. Nice. Like I said, it now goes to the nth degree. It's well worth it.
So what do you score this?
Oh, I honestly, I said to the nth degree. I mean, by itself, I think I said 8. It was an 8 for just like how it was played and stuff like that. But then if you start really going into it, it goes to infinity out of 10. Like it was super fun. Like it's just amazing. My mind was blown when I got to this point. I was just like, this is insanely fun. And I just, even though like I felt like cheating, I don't normally like look up stuff online.
Yeah, but
I
once
was
you're at that
beaming
point in
ear
the
to ear.
game,
Yeah,
you're
I was
fine.
Yeah,
beaming
it's
ear
just
to
like,
ear,
all
just
right,
being
I
like,
got
oh
to.
my God, how much they've done and the delving that they've done for this stuff. Like, I'm not gonna pull up a spectrogram and pull up this shit. Like, I don't give a shit. I know you can get one for free. It's just like, nah, I'm not gonna go through that far. But to see it and read about it and follow along the stuff on Reddit, I was like, what other games really done that for me? And it's just like not many. So that's why I'm just like, I'm smiling like an idiot right now, even talking about it. It was super fun. The other game that I kind of been picking up and played for a little bit now is Guardians of the Galaxy from Square Enix.
On Game Pass.
Got on Game Pass
Yes.
as well. Obviously I'm in between my Elden Ring and Horizon games that I've my big ones I've been playing right now, but these are my two that I've been just playing randomly for fun. And when we saw it at E3 and stuff like that, yeah, it was cool and all that jazz. And you know, I'm one of those people, one of those nerds that's just, I'm like meh on MCU anymore. Marvel is just like I don't really need anything. I don't really care anything about them. Guardians of the Galaxy movies were fine. Like I don't love them. I don't hate them. There's nothing to it for. So for me, like I was just like, I have zero desire to run out and buy this game. Zero desire. And so what I saw on Game Pass, so I was like, fuck it, let's give it a shot and all that jazz like that. I like space operas in general, so why not? I gotta say, they did a really good job. I mean, the storyline itself is very entertaining, lots of fun, tons of Marvel like Easter eggs, kickbacks, and stuff like that. Even just like low-key nerds are gonna get some stuff. Even if you've only seen all the movies, you're gonna get tons of fun feedback for all that stuff. I think they really did a great job of nailing the team dynamic that is there with them, on how they're like really just a bunch of people kind of thrown together in a tin can of a spaceship and said, go do stuff just because you can finally survive and you know, you're not going to kill each other for whatever reason. And they're constantly at each other's throats. They are constantly at each other's throats. So I mean, if that's part of like what you're trying that you like from that, then you'll love it. Because, you know, for me, and like, if you just think about us in our podcast, we constantly make fun of each other all the time here.
Yeah.
Like we're sarcastic, we're just assholes and just like that. And they nailed that in the game. Like they're constantly bickering at each other. My wife is just like, man, they're just mean to each other. It's like, no, they're best friends. Like,
Yeah.
that's definitely what's going on here. And, you know,
You're not coming at it from a mean place. Like there are some things that we have said to each other where like some people look at it like, fuck. You're just like not holding back. I'm like, no, it's no, that's
it's what we do. It's part of the fun. So I mean, they did like to my wife, but to the reason why I bring that up is because to my wife, it started to bug her. She was just like, I don't like this. Like they're just like mean to each other for no reason. And I'm just like, no, that's the dynamic. That's what's going on here. And yes, of course, the storyline has its ups and downs of just like the team breaking up and coming back together, you know, all that jazz. But the dynamic of what they have there of you playing Star-Lord and being like, hey, I'm gonna like try to constantly be holding these ragtag people together because that's ultimately his real job. He's not the fighter. He's not the one that's in there doing like all the crazy cool stuff. Yes, of course he can still fight and shoot and jazz, but honestly, the rest of his team's the heavy hitters. He's the one that brings them all together. And that's what they kind of really did a good job with, is that when you're battling, your ultimate move is that you huddle up. And in the middle of a battle, you go, hey, huddle up, and you can, you know, they've shown it in the demos, you can play the music. But what they didn't show is that they're like, you all get together, they describe the battle of what's going on, and then you have to pick the right way to motivate them. And if you motivate them correctly, then you all get a power boost and the music plays and it's super fun, especially when it's like never going to give you up, or, you know, like safety and driving my car, whatever 80s music that's going on. Super, super fun to play. But it just really accentuates that you are the glue to keep this team together and you have no idea what you're doing. Like at the end of the day, Star-Lord never has any idea what he's absolutely doing, flying by the seat of his pants. And that feeling is there the entire game through. The downsides is that it's very linear. Obviously, there's not much going on here that you can get around to. There's tons of decisions that you make, but it's like a bouncing bubble.
That's
like
what we talked about,
like,
yeah, where it's like they made it seem like the decisions like impacted the story, but they really don't. Yeah, we talked about that as like those were things that started coming out like as soon as the game came out, which kind of irked some people, and it made me not want to play the game as much because they really made it seem like Like the things that you do impact it. And I believe they even said that in the the pre-showings of the game. They're like, the decisions that you make impact everything, and they didn't impact shit.
Well, I mean, it does in an aspect. So, I mean, like, I'll use the example that they use in the demo, where you can either choose to have Groot go in as the monster that you're selling, or Rocket go in as the monster that you're selling. If you choose Groot, then you go in, then you sell off Groot, and then you have a sneaking mission where you have to sneak past all the guards. If you choose Rocket to go in, Rocket just blows up because it's Rocket, and then you have to fight your way through all the guards. At the end of either path, you fight the same boss in the same exact way. It doesn't, that doesn't matter. So, I mean, you have differing paths, but each one kind of like keeps coming together. There's all these different things that come up saying like, oh, the team will remember that, or Rocket will remember that, or whatever. But I haven't seen there be any kind of like, hey, yeah, that was definitely an impact to the overall storyline and arc. I haven't beat the game
lost
yet,
a point.
but yeah, there's nothing there that's like really about that. The other gripe I have, yeah, it's just kind of interesting. The other gripe I have is that it is very much, in my opinion, more very close of teetering on the edge of interactive movie. Like, there's definitely exploring, there's definitely like talking and stuff that you do around, but the amount of combat that's in this game so far, and I am about halfway through, is shockingly low. Like, I'm just like, okay, don't get me wrong, it's very entertaining, it is fun, and they paced it out that you level up and you still get all the abilities that you need to, even though there's not a whole lot. But if you're just like, hey, I really love the combat and stuff like that, and thinking like Kingdom Hearts, where like this is now Guardians of the Galaxy Kingdom Hearts style, it's just like, yeah, you're probably gonna like fight maybe 20 times by midway through the game. Like, there's not a lot. And so it's kind of like, wow, okay, that's okay, because the fighting isn't very deep, but it's kind of shocking on how that's what this game is. Regardless, I'm enjoying it. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. It's on sale right now for $30 if you can buy it anywhere. I highly recommend that. Of course, if you have Game Pass, it's on there, which was a surprising move. Well worth it. Tons of graphical problems, tons of like game-breaking problems that I've run into. There's like one time where I got in an elevator and all of my team just went through the ground, and I went up on the elevator. And then I had to go into like,
bye guys,
unlock like a little mini puzzle, and Rocket's barking.
They didn't even respawn up there
from underground. He's barking orders to me at underground, and so I have my headphones in, and I'm just like holding them to my ear.
Oh, like they actually did distance too.
They had distance. He's like, hit the red button. And I was like, so I had to turn on the subtitles to finally get through like that puzzle, and then like the load screen went in and they came back. But it was just like, okay, that's hilarious.
At that point, yeah, that would have been perfect for like that to be scripted and part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if they didn't like ghost through the elevator, I'd have been like, oh, that made sense. But no, it was definitely a broken thing. So I mean, there's definitely some problems. It's definitely not game of the year material, but it is very enjoyable. And this is speaking as someone that's not massively into MCU as a whole. So it's worth it there.
Nice.
I'll review that next time. I'm not done with it yet, but Tunic's amazing.
I foresee a 6.5 out of 10 for Guardians.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm predicting that right now. And Jason can prove me wrong just out of spite if he wants to. Or anything,
it might be out of spite.
It'll probably be out of spite. Let's be honest here, folks. All right. So that's it. We got through all of our games. We got through all of our news. And that's another podcast in the books. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the IBIF First podcast. We know that you had a choice in what you could do for the last hour and 50 minutes. And unfortunately, you probably chose wrong. But that's okay, because we love you anyways.
Yes.
Thanks a lot for joining us. You can find us at ibitfirst.com or ibif.co, where you can send everybody that wants to listen to our podcast or anything. You can send them there, and they can find IBIT at First, Cutscene, which is our anime watch along podcast, and Patch Notes, which is our dev interview podcast. They can find that on all of their podcast platforms of choice. You can also find us at Facebook, IBIT at First.com, Twitter, IBIT at First, Instagram, IBIT at First. You know the drill. I don't know how much we'll be on Twitter or not. We'll find out what happens to Twitter, since Elon Musk is taking over Twitter now and turning it back into a private company, apparently. So that'll be interesting, to say the least.
Interesting.
It will be interesting. But Please stick with us, everybody that is watching us on Twitch. We will be raiding out after we finish this, but you can always watch us every Monday, usually every Monday, sometimes Tuesdays, depending on whether or not we've got other things going on or something like that, on twitch.tv/ibeatitfirst. You can also join our Discord, and you can go to discord.ibeatitfirst.com or ibeatitfirst.com/discord, one of the two, whichever one you find easiest to type in, and that will get you into the Discord where you can be one of the assholes. Join the asshole community that is I Beat It First, which is also a group of assholes that care. We are also still running our Extra Life campaign. So if you want to join in on that and donate, come visit us on Twitch. You can also search us on Extra Life by just going to extralife.com and searching for I Beat It First, and you can find our team there. I will give a huge shout out to two of our team members that have been blowing it out of the fucking water early in the season. And I posted this on Twitter, posted it in our Discord. Normally, it happens. It's usually a late year-end push, which is when a lot of people do Extra Life. Like, there's people that do stuff year-round, but we usually do, like, a little bit here and there, get some donations throughout the year, but then get the big push in November, like, for Extra Life Game Day. But
November 5th.
Liz Justice and Shawnee, the Hidden Healer, on Twitter, or on Twitter and Twitch, you can find them both under those names. But both of them have fucking blown it out of the goddamn water. Mm-hmm. Liz was giving away a PS5, raffling it off in hers, and she did 1,400 people, or $1,400 worth of donations in hers. Shawnee just did a 12-hour stream about a week ago, while she was racked with pain because she's got an ovarian cyst. I don't feel bad saying it because she's posting about it on Twitter and in her Discord and talking about it on stream and whatnot. She's got an ovarian demon, as she refers to it, that has just been racking her with pain. And she did the full 12 hours, shaved her head into a fucking mohawk, let her boyfriend do her makeup on stream, and had both Chris and I come on stream. And oh wait, no, Chris, you didn't do it because she didn't hit 1,500, right?
I haven't yet.
Yeah, but you're going to when she hits
she's $100 shy right now. Yes.
But I hit when she hit 500. I came on stream and did a Reaper Gumball for 3 minutes. People paid extra to have me do it for an extra minute because I was going to do the standard 2 minutes, and they paid an extra $50 to have me do it for an additional minute, so 3 minutes total. And Chris is going to go on and do it once she hits 1,500, which is going to happen because Shawnee is an amazing being. She's totally awesome. But those two blowing it out of the fucking water. It's great. And again, 100% of the proceeds for Extra Life go directly to the Children's Hospital of choice. Shawnee lives in Alabama, so it's going to an Alabama Children's Hospital. Liz lives in the Northeast, so it's going to a Boston Children's Hospital. For us and for a lot of Team I Made It First, it goes to Phoenix Children's Hospital. We are also going to be working on... I have a meeting with Throne next Wednesday to discuss working on integration directly to the PCH and other charities, if people want to do it, to their Amazon accounts, so that then we can have our Throne tied directly to it, and people can buy directly from our Throne to donate directly to the children's hospitals, which is awesome, because one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that most of the children's hospitals have bans on receiving physical donations from people right now because of COVID still. So for the last 2 years, they haven't been able to take direct donations. Anybody that has toys, video game consoles, anything like that, they can't bring them in directly and get them from them. They can only go off of their Amazon wish lists. So that's something that we're working on with Throne, and hopefully it's going to be coming out sometime in the next month or so, which is totally awesome because I'm really looking forward to working through that. A lot of streamers have Throne accounts, and I saw it and I was like, I really don't give a fuck about getting tchotchkes and things and whatnot. And Chris and Jason both felt the same way. And rather than sit there on my butt and just be like, man, it sucks that nobody has it, I was like, I'll just reach out and see, like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Someone's going to say no. And they love the idea. So hopefully that's going to work. Thank you, everybody that is rating in from Daft Boy Trunks right at the end of the podcast, unfortunately. Daft was playing League, it would appear. But thank you, everybody, for coming in. We are going to be rating out in just a minute. But again, thank you everybody for joining us. Thanks everyone for any of the donations that have been doing to Extra Life as part of Team IBIF first. But make sure that that you send people to listen to the podcast, donate to Extra Life, do all the things. But we can't end any podcast without...
Bye-bye!
Just your dead eye stare.
Actually, you do need to do that, Chris. One of these times, like, just do creepy eye contact with me.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Maintain eye contact. I'm uncomfortable.
Welcome in, Daft and crew. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. You're about ready. We're going to raid out, which is great, though, because you guys, we're going to raid into a really amazing streamer that is... She's normally doing VTube, and she's doing another IRL, but she hasn't done an IRL stream in quite a while. And she is she's making art for her cosplay, which is awesome. But we're gonna wait and hang on, everybody, because she's on a Be Right Back screen, and I'm not gonna raid into her in a Be Right Back screen. But so, how was your stream, Daft? How was League? Did you ever beat that dragon, by the way? Like, when I left your stream earlier, you just continually were getting worked by a dragon in Elden Ring, and I wonder if you actually beat it.
Oh, the Elden Beast, maybe?
I forget.
Did you literally just beat Elden Ring today? That's amazing, if so. I'm glad that he finished Elden Ring right afterwards. I'm so glad I came in, like, the last second. It was just like, did you beat it yet? Are you winning, son?
Yes, actually, I just won.
That was my whole goal for, like, the last, like...
Yeah, he was fighting Dragon Lord. That's it.
The one in the floating area? That one was easy.
Yes, in the floating area, yeah.
But to Daft's point, he's doing non-cheesable things. So I don't think he's doing any blood. I don't think he's doing mimics and all jazz like that. So
he wasn't doing mimics. I saw him cheesing the dragon a little bit, but
cheesing dragon.
That dragon was cheesing him hardcore. Not gonna lie, that dragon was a bitch. Whereas cheeses, I'm using magic. Period. Yeah, that was it. But he was definitely using a lot of magic. But magic is 100% super OP in Elden Ring. But how was League, Daft? I think this might be the second time that I've seen you play League on stream. I know Omni was playing League earlier. We are really just filling time while we wait for Shiggy to come back from her being.
Oh, I know something we could fill time with.
Yeah.
I know. What? Next weekend we are going to be.
Oh yeah, ZapCon. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which will be in the Mesa Arts Center, or something like that, in Arizona, and it is
Convention Center.
Convention Center. It is
the Center for the Arts is a totally different venue, Jason.
Not the Mesa Center for the Arts. I said
Arts Center.
Mesa Arts Center.
Arts Center.
But there is no Mesa Arts Center. There is the Convention
Center. That's why it's great. Anyway, it's the largest collection of like pinball and old school arcade games like you ever like in Arizona. It's
fucking
super
insane.
Fun, great time.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. It's super insane. There it is. Yeah, it's zapcon.com. Here, if everybody wants to look at it, zapcon.com, you can go to it, and that will show you everything that's in there. It's totally fucking dope though, because we've been in past years. We've done post Zapcon podcasts before where we just talked about what we had, but it's like literally like people that just own pinball machines, like classic pinball machines, they'll just bring them. They'll throw them in a truck and bring them, and they may have just one, or they may have 20, and they'll bring in the units, and they'll just fill an entire fucking convention center floor with pinball machines and old ass arcade machines.
Yep.
And it's dope.
Yeah, so this is Zapcon 8.2. So it's the 8th time they've done it. It's 8.2 because
it's their third time.
They've had to cancel because of COVID.
It's the third time trying to do number 8. But yeah, they have 2/3 of the amount of old school arcade games as they do pinball games, which is a lot. If you really look at how many old school arcade games they have, they've got a fuck ton of them. And then you look at the pinball games, and like it's a shit ton. Adam's Family, they usually have the old Aerosmith one, but it's not called Aerosmith.
They'll have
Pinball.
new ones too. They'll have a bunch of new ones. Like last
shit,
year they had like
yeah.
I
They have
really
Shack Attack.
hope. Here's one that I'm really looking forward to if they have a new one. Weird Al Yankovic came out with the pinball machine, and
What's it
I want
called?
to play that Weird Al Yankovic's pinball machine.
It's not going to be
literally
there.
just him and all of his stuff. You know, for
It's
a
not going to
fact,
be
or you
there
just
according.
searched?
I'm looking on the sheet
They
or on
didn't
their list
have-
right now.
They didn't have some of the new ones that were there last year on their sheet, because I remember
just-
being surprised. It was not AC/DC. It was like there was one like Iron Maiden or whatever that was like that wasn't on the sheet because I was excited for it.
Maybe not. And some of them are last minute editions and whatnot too. So hopefully they will.
Yeah.
There's a Deadpool one that's going to be there, which is kind of dope.
Ooh,
Family
that's
Guy
kinda
Pinball, Godzilla.
Mhm.
They got 2 different Godzilla ones, which is going to be dope. A Guardians of the Galaxy one. So they've got a lot of the newer ones, plus the old Guns N' Roses ones, which the Guns N' Roses ones were dope. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed the Guns N' Roses ones back in the day because like that's when Guns N' Roses music was good. So, yeah, totally looking forward. Zapcon's going to be awesome. It is also Chris's 34th birthday coming up.
Yeah. Rule
Which is what we're
34.
really
Young
going
boy.
for is Zapcon. We're gonna do that. So we're gonna be going out and having fun and getting drunk and doing all the things for Chris's 34th birthday.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
So I have a friend
Birthday
that is,
early.
I have a friend that she already had she already actually had her birthday, but she's having a birthday party on Saturday, and it's the same person that does like my hair, Ronan's hair, and Shannon's hair. And I was like, yeah, Shannon's gonna be there. I'm not gonna be there. And she's like, what? Why? And it's her 50th, and I'm like, well, I've already got another birthday party. She's like, I don't care about your other friends. Like, you need to come to mine. I'm like, this one's been on the books for 2 months. And she's like, yeah, but I've probably known you longer. I'm like, it's one of the guys I do the podcast with. And she goes, oh, fuck. Because I've known her for a long ass time. I've known Chris longer. I'm like, I'm sorry. There's
Well-
nothing I can do about it. It's been on the books. You told us about it 2 weeks ago, but Shannon's going to be there at least. But yeah, Zapcon's going to be a shit ton of fun. I can't wait for that. That's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
And Shiggy really needs to come back. Otherwise, we're going to have to find somebody else. I just really love raiding into Shiggy because she's totally awesome. She's good.
I really need to go to
peoples.
the bathroom, so I'm
Go to the
all
bathroom.
for-
Go ahead and go to the
I'm
bathroom.
gonna leave.
Jason.
I'm gonna leave too. How about that? So.
Oh, you're just gonna leave? Okay, Jason's gonna leave, which means that I just need to switch
Okay.
to a 2-person Zoom instead of a 1-person or a 3-person Zoom. Bye, Jason.
Bye.
My,
Good luck finding your
good luck
dad.
finding your dad.
I'm not gonna find my dad. My dad left me a long time ago. That's just how it works, people. Hey, look at that! It's a 2-person podcast,
Yeah.
and it's Chris and I instead of Jason and I, like normally happens with the 2-person podcast.
I didn't drop out this time. Yay.
Oh, look, Shiggy's back. So just in time. All right,
Yay.
we're gonna raid into Shiggy Bun, who formerly was Shiggy Tamagotchi. But we are gonna raid into Shiggy Bun. She's totally fucking awesome. Make sure that if you don't follow her already, that you follow her because she's amazing. She has like super fucking hot ass VTube avatar as well, but she's just a totally awesome person in general. Like I said, she doesn't normally do in person anymore because she primarily does her VTuber, just because she's got issues. She's got her own problems. That's fine. You don't have to give her shit for it, but you can tell her how awesome it is that she is doing it and how awesome she is in general and how awesome it is that she has decided to do some cosplay work on stream. But thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you guys later this week for Vidimo Games. Bye, everybody.
Bye.